Alright, this is 5th grade ELA. Text set author, illustrator study, Ted and Betsy Lewin. People paint on paper and canvases and even on walls. Did you know some people also paint on elephants? What do you think about that? Elephants are important to the culture in India. In the Hindu religion, they are sacred animals. Soldiers once rode them into battles, and they still are a part of many traditional events, for which they are decorated in bright colors. In Balarama, A Royal Elephant by Ted and Betsy Lewin, we get to see some of these colorful elephants up close. Huge and magnificent elephants stir the imagination like no other animal on earth. In India, these mammoth creatures are honored and admired, and for centuries they have been a part of religious, cultural, and social life throughout the country. In years past, the elephants of the Kampur forest in southern India were in great demand. Maharis, the Hindu kings of the land, wanted trained elephants for public festivities, and local people needed them for heavy work. From the 1880s until about 1970, roundups were used to capture elephants in pit traps called khidas. A very large, deep pit was dug and covered with a thin layer of branches and leaves. When a herd of wild elephants were spotted, dozens of men using drums, gongs, fire, and firecrackers would drive the elephants into the pit. Once the elephants fell into the khida, the area was surrounded by a stockade made of stout logs lashed together. After a week of two in the khida, the elephants were pulled out with the help of logs and already tamed elephants ridden by their mahats, or trainers. Only then did the process of training the exhausted, dazed creatures begin. Because of the pain and suffering inflicted on the elephants, khidas are outlawed now. Today, great herds of these giant wild animals move peacefully through the Kampur forest. The forest is also home to many camp or trained elephants that are used for festivals and work. Some of these elephants were captured before the khidas became illegal. Others have been born to camp by side elephants. The animals are cared for and trained by their mahats, who live side by side with the elephants in the forest. Mahats have a deep, lifelong connection with the animals. The sons of mahats often become elephant trainers too. The greatest of all the camp elephants are the royal elephants. How do you feel about the way they used to capture the elephants? Elephant camp. From the city of Mysore, we head out with a car and driver for the Kampur forest near Nagarhole National Park. We are on our way to see the elephants of southern India. We drive under an arch of banyan trees, planted years ago by the Mahara as a place for weary travelers to rest out of the blazing sun. Palm tree-lined rice paddies border the road for miles. In the Kampur forest, we meet up with our guide, Sundar, and take off in his open jeep. Before long, a lumbering elephant and her calf appear on the track ahead. The bell hanging loosely from her neck makes a haunting, mournful sound. The elephant has a fresh wound on her belly. She was out in the forest the night before foraging for food and was attacked by an aggressive bull elephant. It's a deep punctured wound from the bull's tusk, but the elephant's mahat says she will be all right. The elephant stops next to our jeep. From our seats, we look into one of her huge brown eyes. We've never looked into an elephant's eyes before, we say. The long, thick broom of her lashes descends and rises in a slow, solemn blink. We follow the two elephants as they plod on to the camp. A group of mud huts with tiled roofs deep in the forest. There are 5 more elephants in the camp being cared for by their mahats. At one end of the camp is a small temple with elephant bells hanging from the eaves. Painted on the doorstep of the temple is a ragul, a symbol of good luck and welcome. Women in bright, colorful cloths carry jugs of water on their heads. They walk slowly past the elephants and into their houses. There is a young elephant in the camp that already weighs about 800 pounds. He's a little handful of mischief, Sundar says. The elephant loves to chase the children, bowling them over and making them scatter as he runs through the camp. Sundar stands in the smoke drifting up from a big pot of elephant mash that smells like baking bread. The mash is a mixture of water, salt, millet, and gram flour. It is very nutritious, and the children love it as much as the elephants. The Mahat's children surround Sundar. They know by heart the story he is about to tell. We join them. So this says the children already know the story by heart. Why do you think they would want to hear a story they know already? Drona, the lead royal elephant, is very clever. He loves bananas. He knows that every week a big truck loaded with bananas comes up the forest road. One day, as soon as Drona smelled the bananas, he walked to the road and waited near the top of a hill. Drona watched as the truck came slowly into view. Nearing the top of the hill, the driver shifted gears and pushed down on the gas pedal. Nothing happened. The truck wouldn't budge. The driver and his helper couldn't understand why they weren't moving forward. Then the driver glanced into the rearview mirror, and all he saw was Elephant Drona had grabbed the back of the truck with his trunk and was holding the truck in place. The men were so frightened they leaped from the cab and ran into the forest. Drona then tripped over the truck and ate all but one case of the bananas. The children laughed as if they were hearing the story for the first time. We asked Sundar if we could see Drona. He says Drona is at another camp near the Kabani River. He will take us there. During our drive to the camp, Sundar tells us that Drona is a mighty tusker. He was chosen many years ago as the Ambar elephant, the highest honor an elephant can receive. The Ambar elephant is the lead royal elephant of the Mahara of Masora's annual parade through the city on the last day of Dasara, a centuries-old royal and religious festival. The last day commemorates the Hindu goddess Chamundeshwari and celebrates the triumph of good over evil. Drona was selected as the Ambar elephant mostly for his distinctive aura, the special energy that radiates from him. At the camp, we are met by Drona's Mahat. He tells us to wait, then disappears into the forest. He returns talking softly to the huge beast at his side. Drona's forehead is massive, his tusks thick and pointed. He faces us and his ears come forward. He is magnificent. We feel his aura strongly. Drona is very friendly to everyone, Sundar says, but you should see him when he carries the gold. He takes on a royal attitude then. He even walks with a different gait. It's as if he is telling the other elephants to follow him. We decide that we must return the following year to see Drona carry the gold. 1 year later, we are back in southern India for Dasara, and we are looking forward to seeing Drona lead the parade. But when we meet up with Sundar, he has bad news. I'm sorry to tell you that Drona is dead, Sundar says. He was feeding along the road near the elephant camp. There was plenty to eat everywhere. Why he decided to graze near the road instead of in the forest, who knows? Drona had pulled down a large tree branch in order to eat the leaves. The falling branch struck an electrical line, and Drona was electrocuted. Everyone in Masora was saddened. His Mahat and the others who lived in the elephant camp were devastated. They felt as if they had lost their best friend. Would you like to see Drona's grave? Sundar asked. Yes, very much, we say. So let's talk about how the Indian people feel about their elephants. What can we tell from what we've read so far? Sundar drives us to a high, lush bank overlooking the Kabani River. There, Drona's grave is marked with a large 3-tiered pink marble tablet. Drona's huge body was buried beneath the stone. Offerings of wildflowers are scattered atop the grave. We feel as if we too have lost a friend. We stand quietly for a while, then place our own wildflowers among the others. The next day in Masara, we meet Nagari, our official guide for Dasara. He offers to introduce us to Balarama, The elephant chosen to take Drone's place. It will be Balarama's first time leading the Mahara's parade. His first time carrying the golden hada, an 800-pound ceremonial carriage made of wood, shields, and gold. Inside sits the statue of the goddess Chamundeshwari. It's a short walk from our hotel to the Mahara's palace, where the parade will begin. So the Luins have had guides for each journey, and they again have one here. Why do you think they might need a guide to visit the Dasara's festival? So we follow along as Dasara leads us across the palace grounds to the stables. Balarama was brought here from the forest a few days ago to get used to the city. At first, Balarama's Mehat does not want to let us see the prize elephant in his charge. He steps in front of the stall's small barred window and waves us away. Nahari holds out his official badge and the Mahat relents. He opens the large stable door and calls quietly to the elephant within. Slowly, Bamari emerges. He peeks out high above us, and his brightly painted head and shoulders appear. He is very impressive. We back away in awe. Balarami breathes heavily. He sways back and forth. His presence is overwhelming. Heart's pounding. He back away so farther and nod, okay, to Mahat. He seems relieved as Balarmi slowly retreats into his stall. We think Balarmi has plenty of aurora. Dressing of the elephants. Leaving Balarmi behind, we step outside. A high wall with 4 towering entry gates surrounds 78 acres of beautifully landscaped grounds. In the center sits a magnificent palace that is home to the Mahari of Masori and his family. Along one wall by a grove of trees, the Mahants have pitched their tents. They are cooking over open fires, preparing large balls of elephant mash. The brightly painted elephants are chained to trees to keep them from wandering off. Children run off and stuff the mash into the waiting mouths of the elephants. A short while later, the Mahants mount their elephants. Then amble over to a shady country yard in a corner of the palace grounds. Gorgeous silk and satin drapes dazzle us as they are thrown over the elephants and spill down their sides. Once the elephants are dressed, they are led off to a marble pool, shaded by huge mango trees. The animals drink their fill of the cool, refreshing water. Balarmia, the Ambari elephant. Look, look, Balarmi is coming, the crowd shouts. The majestic Balarama and his Mehat slowly across the palace grounds and into the dressing area. Standing on a platform at the base of a tree, Balarmi's Mahat gently embraces the elephant's huge head, the tusks extending like ivory railings on either side. The Mahat strokes Balarmi's eyelashes while the tip of the elephant's trunk whisks nervously back and forth on the ground. The dressings begins. Silken drapes are spread over Balarmi. Then the golden hada is placed on his back. Mahat's position Balarmi below special equipment that gently lowers the hada. It is a slow, delicate task. Balarma's big moment is fast approaching. We are excited and nervous for him. It is important that he stay calm and not be distracted by the crowds and noise. We hope Balarma will make a good impression in his debut as the Emperor elephant. So, why do you think the trainer strokes Balarmi's eyelashes? Finally, under a blazing sun, the ceremony begins. Clip, clop, clip, clop. First come the mounted police guards, turbaned riders carrying long flag-topped lances, sitting tall and straight in their saddles. Then units of cadets, soldiers, and more police guards pour into the big square in front of the palace. All units snap to attention. Excitement hangs in the superheated air. Onlookers crane their necks to see. There he is, Balarmi, carrying the golden hada.